Most traders think profitable trading comes from a better strategy, and it's just not true. The shift that made me profitable had nothing to do with entries. It didn't have to do with my strategy. It didn't have to do really with trading in and of itself. It's how I approach the process entirely. You've been jumping from system to system. You feel like you've tried everything, but nothing seems to work. Then chances are you fall under the same thing that I was once doing. For 2 years, I just kept chasing system after system back to back. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what I mean here. So here we have the Dunning-Kruger effect, a term coined by David Dunning and Justin Kruger in the 90s. And what it means is a cognitive bias where people with limited knowledge or competence in a domain greatly overestimate their own knowledge or competence. So what does that mean? For instance, let's say I'm watching TV and I see a professional skateboarder doing a whole bunch of different tricks. And I think, hey, I want to be a professional skateboarder. That looks fun. Well, then I would go on and start skating, and then I would realize immediately that, hey, skating is a lot harder than I thought. And why? It's because my knowledge of skating, how to stand on the board, how to do certain tricks, the foot placement for each. You start to realize that, hey, skating isn't as easy as I thought it was. And then as I continue to skate, then I become a better and better skater, and to the point of some people reach to expert. Now, how does this affect in terms of a trading? Well, this would be essentially you start with a trading strategy here. You have a couple of good wins and you think, oh, this trading strategy is great. And then you realize that, oh, trading is a little bit harder. I can have a winning strategy, but if I don't have risk management, I don't know how to manage my emotions, I don't have discipline to execute my system, I'm over trading, I'm doing all of this thing. You have this down here, our valley of despair. And so how do you actually get to the target goal of expert? Well, as your knowledge and your confidence increase, you have this slope of enlightenment. So where you continually make slow gains. Look at how this looks, right? We have a peak, then we have this long valley of despair, and then it's a slow slope of enlightenment to expert. And as your confidence and your knowledge grows, that's how you actually get to this expert will. So starting with a trading strategy and learning how to manage your emotions, learning how to manage risk, learning to be disciplined to your system, learning to show up every day, learning to not over trade. That's actually how you get to that realm of expertise. And this is actually the journey of a profitable trader. But most traders aren't profitable traders. This is how most traders' journey look. They start off with a trading strategy. You go up here, you get a couple of wins, you're feeling on top of the world, and then a losing streak incurs. And instead of a valley of despair, traders just have despair. And what do? They go back and try to start with a completely different strategy, a completely different mentor, a completely different process. They try to switch their sessions they're trading, and then they repeat this same peak mountain of stupid and then go into despair again and then repeat the cycle. So traders are constantly in this repeated cycle, going circle in circle, around and round, and wondering why you might not be getting results. Well, it's because you keep trusting and trying a whole bunch of different things. What does this mean? It means that you're not staying with one system long enough to actually see improvement utilizing the system. Kyrien here. If you're a trader and you've just been turning your wheels, going in circles round and round, trying different strategies and nothing seems to stick with you, and you're wondering why everybody around you seems to be getting results and you're not, don't worry. It is completely normal, and so many other traders are in that same exact position. That's exactly why I started the Ace Academy, where it is a one-on-one mentorship where we'll work with you to build your funded blueprint to help you get funded and start making profits in the markets. Now, this is not a guarantee of profits, but this academy has helped so many members in our community start getting funded and taking out payouts. If you want to join, you can click the link down below and apply, or you can scan this QR code here and you can apply to join us there. I hope to see you guys in the Ace Academy. So what is an actual good number of trades to be able to tell whether or not your system works or it doesn't work? You need 100 trades at the very least. 100 trades to even be able to tell, does this strategy work? Does it not work? What market conditions does it work? Because that's where you get the slope of enlightenment. I have a step-by-step system that I use every single day, and the step-by-step system was built because I had this slope of enlightenment. I was noticing things that would happen with my system, and I was able to make slight adjustments. So now I know what my average win rate is, my average risk to reward. I know also when my strategy thrives the best, right? And what market conditions it is, what time specifically to trade. I have all this put together on a 9-step blueprint, which you can get absolutely free. I'll give you my blueprint. Just click the link down below. You can get the free blueprint along with my free trading journal. It was built day by day of this slope of enlightenment to the point of now pushing towards expertise. So if you see this here, this is our graph. We have our peak here, we have our valley of despair here, and we're trying to break through this peak to get to that target of expertise. Well, in trading, we have this gap here. So as you gain more and more knowledge, knowledge is only going to take you but so far. Because what good is knowledge if you don't actually have the confidence to execute? So oftentimes traders will see a perfect setup and then be hesitant on executing on their setup simply because they aren't confident in the setup. So the question becomes, how do I actually become an expert? What are some of the things that I need to do to become an expert? And this isn't just with trading. This is with anything that you do in life. This is going to apply to business. It applies to relationships. It applies to everything, right? This, in terms of a relationship status, could be what was known as the cupcake phase, right? Where you have, you start dating, you guys are feeling each other, everything is just blissful. But then you move in together, you start realizing that you don't really like the way somebody does this, or the way they sleep there, or they snore when they sleep. And then you have more knowledge, and then you eventually, hopefully go into the realm of relationship experts. You guys been together for 20 years, you guys inside and out. And that's just, it's not a confidence thing, but it's this same graph applies to that situation as well. How do you actually become an expert, and what are some of the things that you have to do? There's a point where you actually need to execute. So you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you're not properly executing, or executing when the markets are showing you your setups, then it does nothing for you. So how can you actually build your confidence as you're also building your knowledge? Well, the best thing that you can do is practice. Like I said, 100 practice trades. If you practice 100 trades, you will learn so much about your system, the flaws, the pros, the cons, things like this. For instance, I know that 70% of my losses in the past 5 years have happened in choppy markets. Well, what is a choppy market? I'll explain to you quickly what a choppy market is, determined by my system here. So essentially we have 3 types of market structure. We could either be in a bullish market structure, we could be in a bearish market structure, or we can be in what is the third one I like to say is a choppy market structure, or a neutral market structure here. Now, and that just means that price is just going side by side. It isn't going anywhere. We have our bullish structure here, we have our bearish structure there. Right? So if price is bullish, I know that my system thrives in bullish markets. If price is bearish, it thrives in bearish markets. Why? Because my system is dependent on the market trending, right? That's where we see the best possible moves. Now, what is an actual choppy market as determined by my rules? A choppy market is determined by my rules is this. If we are creating higher highs, like we are here, and higher lows, price is bullish. If we're creating lower lows and lower highs, or lower lows, excuse me, these are our lower lows, and our lower highs, then price is in fact bearish. Now, what do we know? Now, how do I know when price goes from being bearish to now being bullish? Well, I would get the creation of a higher high and a higher low, and then a new higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So the markets goes side by side, shifting between lower lows and lower highs, and higher highs and higher lows. So knowing this is how I read market structure. I can trade this market. What I can't trade is if price creates a low here, it creates a new high. Well, we should be creating a higher high. But in this case, price pushes through, breaks through the low, and then pushes back up and creates a higher high. So this is invalidating the direction, meaning that price has no direction and it is in fact neutral. And I know 70% of my losses happen in this market. So I can save myself 70%, right? Just by not trading on these days. The only way that you can do that is through reps and reps and reps. You get that type of data through reps, right? And you need to track it. So how can you actually track all of your reps? So you can see that this is my journal dating back to 2022. And these are all the trades that I tracked. I literally was tracking all of my trades, keeping data and score across all of my trades. So I'm going to give you guys, like I said, I'm going to give you this completely free. You hit the link down below, you hit file, make a copy. All you have to do is hit file, make a copy, and you'll have your own personal trading journal along with the 9-step rule book that I use every single day trading. The best way to grow your confidence that I know of is to get more reps, not just practice reps, but actual live reps, and then document each trade. How did you feel when you were in the trade? Right? What was your confirmation? What are the things that you were looking for? And so you can see exactly how I execute every single trade that I take with my 9-step blueprint. Again, down below in the link, down in the description, you guys can get that. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.